Welcome back. Welcome in to the Lions Share podcast post Texans edition. The Lions go into Houston on their fourth game on the road in the last five and steal a dub in primetime in front of the nation. Jake Bates, of course, with the game winner. You've all seen it as time expired, and they send us all to bed happy. The Detroit Lions do. They now reach 8 wins, and that puts their mark at 8-1 atop the NFC. Someone's got in the notes here. Super Bowl hype has never been more intense, and we'll talk on that just in a moment. But, guys, I feel like a proud parent right now. Like, so proud of this team to show up when it mattered and overcome so much. I know you guys probably feel the same. But scoreless in the second half. The defense doesn't allow any points in the second half. 2 huge kicks from Bates, and just relentless all game long, and especially in the second half. A game that the SOL team would lose every time, and those field goals that were just inches within would have been just inches outside. I just feel it. So 8-1, boys, 8-1. Can you believe that record? And can you believe what happened last night in front of our eyes?
Ben, are you at all upset that your home team lost? Are you shaken up by that at all?
No, look, AFC team, I can root for them on other weeks and other reasons, but I was never more happy than last night, especially after the TikTokers got after us.
Yeah, let me say, it was hard to stay awake for the game. Hard to go to bed after the game.
I feel the same exact way. You can't possibly just fall asleep after that.
And let's just say, what another tragic ending for the Houston Texans against the NFC North.
Right. The Packers also won on that game-winning field goal as well, right?
Yep, and the Vikings absolutely dismantled them.
Yeah, they only had good luck against the Bears, which isn't saying much after their performance against the Patriots.
Can we go check the tape and talk about how I flagged that the Bears were trash and this was all going to come to a screeching halt? I mean, they're terrible.
Check our tape. I thought you were saying their tape. I was going to say check the pulse.
No, yeah, I mean, Eberflus has got to go. They are so bad. And Caleb Williams just has, and this is, even when they were winning, like, Caleb Williams' body language is just so bad. Like, it seems like he pouts. I've never seen anything like it.
Suddenly this has turned into a Bears podcast.
Oh, I can go.
Did you see him laying on the last thing about the Bears? But Caleb Williams laying on the ground and the defender helps him up because no one on the offensive line would help him up.
I didn't.
All-time clip from yesterday. Saw that on the Twitter or the X. But yeah, can you guys believe that this team is 8-1? Like, Andrew, do you remember when we started this podcast and they started that season? Was it 0-5, 0-6? I think it was bad, right? Mute monster.
Give me the music. Mitchell, I'm playing this one all on Mitchell, throwing in the chat, giving me some extra buttons to hit. Ben, I can remember back, I mean, it may even be this season when we do our schedule release and what games we're going to win. And I can tell you that it would be a laughable situation if we said they were going to be 8-1 at this point in the season.
It's just an unbelievable start. I couldn't be happier. I don't know what else
Unbelievable
to say.
start.
I'm at a loss for words.
Unbelievable start to the season or unbelievable start to this podcast?
I think we're all a little slap happy right now after last night's victory. A little low on sleep. We're all over the place right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was riding high as soon as I woke up this morning. It was like the birds were chirping a little bit louder. The breeze smelled a little fresher. Everything about that. Just especially for those that don't know, I was traveling, so I didn't get to catch the first half. I was watching it all on the mobile, coming down from the plane. Was in a rush to watch this game. And then I came just in time for to the second half. So some are saying that I was the good luck charm.
Some are saying, how many other souls aboard that plane that you endangered?
Well, look, what I do on those planes is none of your business, none of the business of the shareholders.
I'm glad they could bring it down.
Wait.
I had to circle a couple times.
Land it, not bring it down.
Yeah, well, that's dark.
Bring it down safely.
There we go. Okay.
Bring it down safely, just like the Lions brought us all down safely. It was incredible. I guess I don't have a lot of words. I'm almost speechless still.
Oh, Should we talk about how James Houston shit himself?
What a
on.
beautiful transition.
Right before we do that, let's play the Bates game winner again for the folks at home. I mean,
Didn't the first one, didn't the 58-yarder touch the goalpost?
The other side.
I think it did. Kissed
Yeah.
it. We
Both
have
of
that
them.
one too. We have that one too. Here's the 58-yarder that you're alluding to. If it wants to come up. Here we go. I think that one definitely, I don't know. From the slow-mo angle, I think you can see it hit, but
I wonder if either of those referees were at some point like, oh, did it? I don't know if it went in or not. Like, you have to be kind of
you see them look at each other like,
Yeah.
is this guy serious?
Well, that one's a little easier than the ones that go over the top of the goalpost, and then you're kind of like,
Well,
oh, when it crossed, was it good?
you see on that 52-yarder, the game winner, it's up there. Like, that was probably good from 70. I don't know if people caught that, but that was going to be gone.
The 58-yarder was up there.
That one barely snuck in, I feel like, right?
That had some good yardage on it.
I thought
That's
that one was
halfway
out. Well, but look where we're at by the end. It hits the ground before it hits the.
That's another
the
10
net.
yards. Easy.
Either way, dude's got a leg. Hasn't missed a field goal yet. Anybody feel like that was going to be a jinx coming into that second kick? The second kick was way more worry, obviously, because of his game winner. But I felt good I felt really good when he marched out there at 58. Had confidence, but the 52-yarder was a little worrisome for me. I thought he made his one. It was very close to not being a make. 52-yarder for the game, especially being I don't know if you caught that, but he's from Texas. Went to Texas State. Shout out to San Marcos.
Yes.
What was your confidence level going into the 52-yarder?
I mean, I was nervous. I was telling Lady Lion number 2 the whole time, like, I'd really love to get 2 more first downs to make it like a 35-yarder, somewhere in that area. But, yeah, I mean, once he hits the 58, it's like there's a peace of mind knowing, like, okay, he's got the leg to do it. Like, there's no doubt he's got the leg. But yeah, the 52, the moment, I felt more confident because they got it to the hash he wanted. But we were talking before this, like, maybe we just start lining old boy up in the center because he kicks the ball and it doesn't move, like, at all. It's just literally just playing chicken with the goalpost. So I'd love to just line him up in the middle of the field if possible.
Disagree against the Vikings. That thing was a wobbler. Those were all over the place. He's been kind of a mixed bag, but what you said, Mitchell, it's nice to know that he has the leg, right? The 58-yarder gives you the peace of mind. And he talked about it after the game. They asked him, is this the most confident you've ever been in a kicker? And he said, look, I had a lot of confidence in Badge as well. But he said, he's in his stride right now. He's feeling himself. He's got confidence. I forget what the exact answer was, but
He said yes. In short, like, basically yes. I would say I think he said, like, I would say that's accurate.
But yeah, like, at least if we need one, we can go out there and you've got a hope and you've got a prayer. You need 3 points at the end of the game. We can get there. We've got some distance.
Yeah, a great test for him too to get these under his belt. He had the game winner, like you said, against the Vikings, and now he's got 2 huge kicks in prime time in front of everybody. To have that under his belt, that speaks to his confidence, but also speaks to future success too. I guess what I don't understand is why didn't he hit the boom this time?
Just too excited. Didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah, imagine the nerves. It's incredible, but what a game for Bates. Both those kicks. What else was I going to say? I had something else about that besides the boom.
Were you going to talk about Shabuzi?
Shabuzi is going to be there at halftime during the Thanksgiving game. I saw that.
It's a solid play. I like that.
It was going to be a shout out to you, Mitch, because we all made our guarantees and our surprises for this season before the season kicked off, and one of yours was 5 field goals of 50 yards plus. Now it took a while for him to get to 50, Can't remember which game the first 50-yarder came in, but he had one coming into the game against the Texans, and then he triples it. Now he's got 2 more, so he's got 3 of 3 with 8 games remaining. You've got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, we're tracking pretty well. I think, especially now having seen him done it twice, and to your point, that 58-yarder had clearance. So if you're Dan, like, all of a sudden 4-down territory is not quite what it used to be. Like, you get to the 50-yard line, and like all of a sudden you're having to make some decisions. Not quite the 50, but probably like the 40-yard line. You're definitely like, yeah, Bates can go out.
Yeah, it's a whole another wrinkle to that offense and that team that hasn't been there. You just didn't have the confidence. I hope he
sends him out for like a 65-yarder. It would be just incredible if next week there was just kind of like a nothing inconsequential, like end of the half, whatever, and he just marched him out there and he drilled one.
It's coming, I feel like. Maybe not next week, but at some point, I feel like it's coming.
They do that a lot. They concede right before the half. They do that so often. Let's just go to the quarter. Let's go to the half. I would love to see that, Mitch. Get down there. Hey, why not? Let's see how fast we can get 20 yards here and get a kick out.
They kind of tried to do it before the half, knowing that the Texans were going to get the ball out of the half, and they already had been dug into that hole in that deficit. They tried to. They hit Amon-Ra St. Brown and got to... It's like the 45 on their side of the field. So they were trying to do it. It just didn't pan out. But like I said, it's another wrinkle. It's something for this offense. Like you said, Andrew, maybe you got 25 seconds before the half and one timeout. You get 20, 25 yards, and then you're in striking distance of getting a Bates field goal. You know that Jared showed us that he can't exactly get the ball in a Hail Mary situation to the end zone, and threw one of his 5 interceptions on the day, but that one doesn't count. But another diaper game nonetheless. And so that takes us to our next segment, which is arguably the most important segment that you'll hear. So make sure you're tuned in for this one. But we've got a big situation from the night last night. Obviously, James Houston playing in Houston. Maybe the diaper game got to him. I know it got to us shareholders and board members here alike. But if you didn't catch it on the broadcast, because maybe it was a little hard to see from your television, but we got quite a situation from James Houston here. Obviously, the all-white jerseys play into this contrast that is on his backside, but he's claiming, like you said, Andrew, pre-show, he's claiming that this was him sitting in Gatorade. Do we buy that this was a Gatorade stain?
What Gatorade do you know that's brown?
I've seen it yellow, a little more yellow in some other photos.
The only reason that makes me think he didn't make poopty pants is like he could easily have run back to the locker room and changed. Like they have so many extra pants, so it would be a little insane for him to like make dump and then just like sit in it and play in it, unless it's just a pass rushing strategy and the tackle's just like, oh god.
Yeah, it plays into his form. That's a Dan. If he did, it's a Dan Campbell, I'm sure. If he actually did, Dan would have gave him a game ball for that performance. But how about James Houston getting a sack for once? That was something new.
It's fun to see him in that category again, and you've got it on the call sheet here, a plethora of them. What's his first name? O'Connor. Is it Pat?
Pat, yeah.
Dude, finally, he does this at least once a game. Absolutely breaks through the line like nobody's standing in front of him. And then it's usually a running back that's back there. And he just gets juked out of his shoes, and it's an absolute whiff. So happy to see him in the sack category and saw that exact same play, and he made an open field tackle. So good on you, O'Connor.
Way to go, Pat. Getting some playing time with Zadarius Smith not out there. Like you said, Andrew, 4 sacks on the day for the team. Houston got his 1. O'Connor got his, like you said. Paschal, shout out to you for this, Andrew. You said in the preview that, at that time we thought Zadarius might play. So you said Zadarius wouldn't get his, but Paschal would get his. So he did. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. And then Aleem added the 4th of 4 today for the Lions against the Texans, which we said in the preview show. Texans gave up the 2nd most sacks in the league, so we knew that could be an opportunity for them.
Did we get an update on Aleem after the game on his injury?
Looked it up. I tried looking it up, couldn't find anything.
I feel like he just kind of got don't know if it's like I saw him like doing this. I'm like, I wonder if he just had one of those things where like his jaw kind of clicked, and then he was kind of worried about it. Seemed like he was fine.
Yeah, it was like something with the jaw or the ear, maybe. I don't know. Something in there. I tried looking it up. I didn't see anything about it.
Yeah, hopefully no news is good news, and that's not a long term where we're missing him again. Because boy, do we need that motor.
Yeah, we do, and they'll get some help with Za'Darius next week. He took his bye week, which do we want to talk about? How do we feel about him taking that bye week? Do we respect that?
They made him.
Did they make him?
Did you? Yeah, he post gamed with Rodney, Tony Dungy, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he said DC made him. He was like, I wanted to play, but coach made me, and he's like, that's part of one of the reasons like I wanted to come here. You can tell they care about their players. Like I loved seeing him on the sidelines coaching some guys up, and he talked about it post game. He was giving them some tips on how to beat the tackles, and I'm excited. But yeah, no, that sounds like it was DC's call to sit him this week.
Okay. And on the other side of the ball, not the other side of the ball, but in the secondary on that defense, how about Carlton Davis, CD3, CD INTs, whatever you want to call them. That one right out of the half was huge, and then Jared proceeds to throw one right back to him. That was tough, but that was when that's when it started for me. I felt like I didn't necessarily lose help. You'll hear it in my halftime capsule, and maybe that's because I didn't get to fully ingrain myself in the first half, but I didn't feel like they were out of it. And then as soon as Carlton Davis picks off Stroud their first play of the second half, right during Dan's speech, which was just perfect. Storybook, couldn't script it like that. That's when the hope started for me, and I was ready for the comeback to begin.
Well, Ben, since you weren't fully ingrained, they were never out of it in that first half. That last touchdown before the half is really what absolutely killed them. Because the entire time you're thinking they're within one score, 7-16, 2 scores,
7,
whatever it was at the time. But it's like they were right there. We just need to strike on an opportunity. Didn't happen. And then Dan talking on the sidelines, giving his interview, and CD brings it into existence. Man, that was really cool to watch.
Tough. Oh, there he is. That was wild. Yeah, I mean, defense played great. Andrew, the one drive before the half was it. Total yards 248.
We haven't seen that.
Goff, you can put that on Goff. The defense played so well, giving up 23 points off of 5 turnovers
with nearly no breaks
is incredible.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The rest
coming right back on the field, Mitch, because of those INTs. You get no breather.
Yeah, and I guess Dan kind of broke down some of the interceptions. Let's wipe off the Hail Mary. That doesn't count. That's just begging for it. So let's call it 4. And even then, he's like, Laporta should have turned around on the 1 and da-da-da. But, I'd still say, 3 of those were bad passes. The tipped ball is, the guy's right there. The ones to JMO, it's just dude, you don't have the arm. I'm sorry, but you don't.
I'm not going to lie. The one to JMO I thought was just a sick play by that cornerback.
Really?
I thought it was extremely athletic to get all the way around him, jump midair, and get over top of JMO like that. I thought that was an incredible play.
Yeah. All right.
Was that the number 4, the same guy who got hurt and left the game?
Yes. I think so.
I'm not sure.
That
guy, bummer for the Texans. They lose him. 2 INTs. Own team takes him out.
That rookie that got
smacked.
that.
Yeah. But all that to say that, the defense was on all night. And in the second half, they went on. They clamped all the way down. It was great.
Kamari.
AG getting the game ball.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect acceptance speech. It was great.
Yeah, short and sweet. I love this team, or I effing love this team. I can't remember which one.
That's what he said.
When you watch the Lions, one that's always cut. There's only so many cuts. I think Jared dropped 6 F-bombs in his breakdown. Just bleeps everywhere. But
I'd love to know mic'd up what Jared said when Bates hit that game winner, because he grabbed DC right away. Grabbed him right away. And you
Won't
have to
happen
think
again.
it was just like, I'm going to be better, like, but this team is all you.
Yeah, for them to overcome that, that's the most interceptions since Jameis Winston, our favorite, in 2019, had 5 in a game. I don't believe they won. I don't believe they won that game though. So I don't know the last time that someone's thrown 5 interceptions and still won the game. That's unbelievable.
That's the difference. That's the difference, though. I can already picture at least 2 of those. Jameis ran 20 yards the wrong direction and then launched it.
Yeah, I was texting a bunch of people after. To me, this is the best win in DC's era. I mean,
I would.
You're down 23-6 against a playoff team, and you come back. You absolutely clamp down. Like this is my favorite win so far. No, I don't know about favorite because keeping the Packers out of the playoff was pretty sweet. But I think the best win that now it's like, now you have to put the SOL to bed, and I think they did that in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, and in the referee's mind too when they don't get the pass interference at the end of the game too. So
yeah,
thanks for shedding that out for us as well.
One.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll be the one to address the elephant in the room. That's okay, guys.
Got away with one.
And the Texans got away with a roughing the passer too. So you can't, and
Very true.
2 different moments, but that's what I've been seeing too. So you can make that argument. I thought the receiver kind of slowed down in his route, little trip with his legs there. Probably PI, but I still don't think it was as egregious as some would say.
Yes, that is
I'm not
pretty
that
egregious.
biased, am I? Am I that biased?
It was
PI.
pretty bad. They showed the replay, and I was like, oh.
What
Gave
I
us
do
one.
what I do love about what came out of this game, though, is Mitch, and we were talking about it when we gave our predictions. Mine was 49-14, and you had said, if that's the score, like everybody, their odds-on favorite for the Super Bowl, and they flip in everybody's mind. They did that almost exact same thing with
Way different.
a nail biter. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad you said that, and I put that in there, and I'll actually, we can talk specifically about the odds. Like, this has done way more, and in my opinion too. Like, to me, this was this is grit embodied. Like this was it. They're not blowing a team out. Yeah, they won a close one against the Vikings, but like, this was way different. This is we're gonna drag you out and fucking bury you. That's what this was. I mean, this is everything DC is about, and I dropped it in there. Plus 450 to win the Super Bowl, second best to the Chiefs, who are plus 400. Everybody's on it right now. Everybody is on the lines right now because that win was
high-level analysis.
ding. It's just something. Like, there's just something about the team that's special. I mean, they're figuring out ways to win every single week.
They are, and I think everything I can echo everything you just said. It's up there. The playoff wins, those are great. Like you said, the Lambeau one from a couple years ago. We just don't want them to go. There's a lot of them, but I think you nailed it. You said it just exactly perfect. It's just, yeah, we've had a lot of gritty wins under Dan's belt, but they've been against teams where they've just been stinky teams, under 500. They've underperformed. They played down to their competition and then found a way to win it late. But this is a team that's well coached with D'Amico Ryans and like you said, a playoff team leading their division. They're down one of their best wide receivers, but 2 of them, I guess. But the Lions, banged up as well. Didn't have their Taylor Decker out there. That hurts them. But yeah, it just, the quality of win, it's up there. It's certainly up there. Did you guys catch what Dan said today in his press conference about what Ben Johnson said in the locker room at halftime? I'll put it on the screen here for those watching on YouTube. Dan Campbell said at halftime, Ben Johnson told the offense, "This is the 49ers game in reverse."
I was legitimately waiting for you, Ben, to break because I was literally going to say, you guys know what this is. This is the NFC Championship game, except now everybody knows we can go do that. Like, now we have that ability to say, no, like, just because you get ahead, we'll come back. Like, that's crazy. Ben,
That's incredible for him to say in the moment, even though, our defense did a lot of the heavy lifting in this one.
Well, that's exactly it, though. Like, it wasn't like, oh, the Texans just imploded. They gave the Lions all these gifts. Like, the Lions forced all those hands. They forced all those turnovers. They were the reason why they came back. It wasn't a beneficiary situation. There's really nothing you can point to that says that. But But yeah, 49ers game in reverse. I thought that was really well said, and I love that from Ben Johnson. But I also know that the league is going to be on notice with him saying that, and that is head coach material type of speech right there. So that's concerning. I don't want him to go.
This is for a later date, and we talked about this. I think he's going to be selective according to Schefter. Like, there's not a lot of places he's going to go. I'm starting to get scared we're going to lose both of them, boys. I'm starting to get real scared we're going to lose both of them.
This is what great teams do, Mitch.
Yeah. But
yeah.
you know what's going around in my head here? Man, the Giants look bad, and if we're going to lose Ben Johnson, come on back, Dable. Come on back, Brad guy. We'll take it.
And I was going to say, you lose somebody, and Mitch or Ben, you're probably going to say this exact same thing. You lose somebody, but well, nobody's Mufasa, let me tell you that. But with Dan's reputation right now, who wouldn't want to be a coordinator? Like Saleh, why wouldn't you want to take a step back for a couple years?
Because he's buddies with LaFleur.
Well, that's
the
his
only
own
thing.
deal.
But
I guess
just as right.
Just as a head coaching spot.
Yeah, this is going to be your destination. Just like we've talked about, Mitch, you talked about it in the past. I think many moons ago about, almost spoke it into existence about how Detroit's a destination for free agents. It's going to be the same way for head coaching, or not head coaching, but coaching positions, coordinators and those alike. Anybody's going to want to be able to play for Dan, and maybe we get Vrabes. Vrabel's still out there. I think he's working with the Browns, is it? I can't remember who he went to, but can't imagine his position with the Browns is going to be something he's going to want to stick around in that shit show that is an organization.
Yeah, I agree. It's a destination. I feel like we've bounced around a little bit here. We talked about the game a ton though, in a kind of a roundabout way. But I think one of the things, Ben, you put in here, and I think it was super impressive. We don't have to talk a ton about Goff. I feel like we kind of covered that. Like, he had a bad game. There's no way. I mean, he kind of said he felt like he didn't play terrible, and maybe he didn't, but you didn't play well. The J-Lo catches though, like, you put that in here. Good Lord, dude had sticky hand. Didn't put up huge numbers last night, but like, again, super impressive from him in the way he hung in there and caught some tough balls.
Can I say something though? And he gave me a little bit of relief. That's part of the reason I also wouldn't be mad if they traded him. That skinny little body. I feel like he's gonna break every time he has the ball and every time he gets tackled.
He does.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
fine. I think he got the wind knocked out of him on the one play. But anyone would. I mean, A.J. Brown, if he gets sandwiched, probably gets the wind knocked out of him like that.
Yeah, he just worries me. A little body. He's just going to...
Would you trade him for Devontae Smith?
No. No.
Well,
no. I want my born and raised Waymo. Homegrown.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said in the preview show, it was earlier on in the season, I think you were just talking about how you want to just wrap his legs up in air casts just all the time, permanently.
I think, who was that? Early in the season, he was running free, scored, got in, but he just full yard sale on the way in.
Yeah, no, it is a concern. Every time he's in those situations, it is a concern. But like you said, Mitch, 3 catches for 53 yards, some huge ones down the stretch, and Amon-Ra St. Brown with a huge drop at one point in that game that you felt like could have been pivotal.
That scared me. That was like, okay, now there's bad juju in the air. Like, all this stuff that's been hyped up, like Amon-Ra's dropping them, like, it's getting a little scary.
Yeah, and maybe that speaks to, like it said at the top. Sorry, Andrew. Did you have something there?
Nope, just forgot to mute myself when I itched my head.
Okay, there you go. I thought we had a situation there. Anyway, 4 of your last 5 games have been on the road. So I think that plays into it. Get a couple home games here in a stretch here. I think you'll be better off. But can you guys believe that? They had the one home game where they put up 52 against the Titans. The last time they played, they've had one home game since September 30th. Isn't that crazy?
Doesn't feel like that.
Doesn't, because they're showing up in droves in Houston and other stadiums.
Showing up, showing out. Shout out to the Lions fans. They were getting some love last night.
As they should.
Home crowd is going to be thirsty for that next one, though.
Oh, yeah. Against the Jaguars next week. They've got the home game. And then They've got a stretch of 3 in a row home games after that. They've got the Colts on the road, but then they get 3 in a row. Thanksgiving, Packers, Bills, 3 in a row there to kind of even out their schedule that has been so road heavy in the middle, which is odd. But they did start with 4 of their first 5 at home.
Yeah, I love. I mean, you don't want to look past any teams, and I know I feel like I've been flirting with this, but like, you know, Laporta banged up. Sounds like he might miss next week. Decker sounds like he's a day-to-day type of thing with his shoulder that he kind of tweaked in practice, but it sounds like he's trending in the right direction. So it'd be great to see the Lions do what championship teams can do and kind of handle their business with the Jags as massive 13-point favorites. Get to see some of the guys get rested, but sounds like nothing serious as far as Laporta and Decker go, and obviously, you know, getting some key defensive guys activated that I think we touched on last week. So, injury bug, this is what you get when you get the bye week early. And the number 1 seed is becoming more and more important to this team, I think. That would be a massive bye week heading into the postseason.
Yeah, and you've got the Vikings and the Eagles right in the rearview mirror
Creeping.
in the NFC. Yeah, and I did a thing where I look ahead at the Vikings schedule, and man, it's discouraging because they just really don't have a tough schedule, and they had a stinky game against the Jags, 12-7. What a terrible score! You imagine the Lions are going to put up way more.
And also,
Blame Mac.
like,
Yeah,
yes, correct.
yeah. The Vikings schedule though is tough to look at and think that they're going to lose too many of these games, but they've got Titans next week, Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. So there's some losses.
I would say on the flip side, I know this isn't Dan's thing, but like similar to last year, it's almost like if you're not playing for home field at a certain point, you got to rest the guys going into your week 18. You have to, unless you're playing for potential home field throughout, outside of potentially the NFC Championship game, you got to rest them. But I feel confident. I mean, they look good. There's no team in the NFL that the Lions can't beat.
You know Dan wants it. All roads lead through Detroit, that is. And he wants it. He wants it.
Yep.
Yeah, and looking ahead way too far, but Week 18 is against the Vikings at home. So potential implications in that game, depending on how they shake out over these next 7 games before that game. But something to look for. But you're right. You got Jags next week. Then you got the Colts, and then the Bears, and then the Packers, and then the Bills. That's probably the toughest matchup of the year for them. The Bills coming in hot. Yeah, but you hope that Taylor Decker gets healthy because that showed yesterday in the game, and they had initially, I don't know if you guys caught this in warm-ups. I didn't see this, but I caught it in the notes of on a Twitter. But they had initially put Skipper on the other side and flipped Sewell to the other side, and then they put Sewell back in his original position. So it was
I mean, I like
thing,
that. I know they did that last year. They flipped Sewell over, but just leave him. I mean, he's the best right tackle in the game. Just leave him.
Yeah,
I would agree. I hate to say it, good for Skip for getting his first ever start. I know why you're kind of that next man up, though.
It showed. And once again, this offensive line can't have that full unit together. It seems. Let's talk PFF grades real quick before we move on here. Do you have this in here twice, Mitch?
Offense and defense, brother.
Oh, there we go. Okay, the split up. So highest graded: Ragnow, Zeitler, Panay on the offensive line, and then it says James Williams. I'm assuming that's Jameson.
Probably.
And then Laporta.
It's a snip. I didn't type this out.
No, understood. Jared Goff was your lowest, right next to Brock Wright.
Jared Goff, not the lowest though. Isn't that crazy?
It is. David Montgomery.
Monty, not a good game.
Where I feel like the anger runs are coming back against the Jags. I feel like it's brewing. It's gonna come to a head at some point. It's got to happen.
Need it. He's falling behind on those yards.
He is, and if you want to talk about that, I've got the new totals in there. Gibbs at 727, looking pretty good for 1,000 at this point. Monty at 520 has eclipsed 500 after last night, but 8 games remaining. Still on pace for your totals there, Andrew, of dual 1,000-yard rushers. It's very close for Gibbs.
Gibbs just gets like, he's so fast. I mean, he's so fast. It's crazy.
If he gets through the line, it's a 15 to 20-yard play. It's
over. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and he has to have the most yards out of bounds out of any player in the NFL, because there's just so many times where he gets nudged out and then he does that little skip thing, like he knows he was just like half a second away from just busting it down the sidelines. But he's always trotting on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm. That is a little known nugget right there from you. Absolutely. We need a next gen stats on that. But yeah, just last thing about Goff, I just feel like this has happened to him in the past. Not 5 picks, but it's just like he won the midseason MVP award by the NFL on Fox. I don't know if anybody caught that. He won that, and after last night's performance, they probably wouldn't do that again. But yeah, I mean, it's just, we hope it's a write-off, and they've had a lot of road games, and hopefully get some home cooking next week and right the ship for everybody on that offense. Defensively, Brian Branch was playing pretty angry out there. He led the team in tackles. Also, Jack Campbell very quietly continues to climb the ladder. I feel like he's slowly developing. And very quietly, though. You don't feel that way?
I know they talked about him last night. I just to me, he's still not a difference maker. He's still not like people play, and this is like a high hope, but like when people play the 49ers, you have to game plan Fred Warner. Like Jack Campbell, I don't think is anywhere near that, and like that would be my hopes for him. Like they picked him up very high. Yeah, I'm just looking for a little bit more, I guess. I don't know. It still feels like, they picked him up to be the middle linebacker, to be the captain, to be the heart and soul of the defense, and to me that's way more Anzalone, and then Brian Branch, and then Hutch. With Hutch out, or with Hutch out, it probably would have been Anzalone and or Hutch. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see it from Campbell.
Yeah, I don't think Campbell was ever meant to be the like vocal leader by any means on this team. I think you're right though. Hutch was, Anzalone was. That's why Dan brought him from what? The Saints, and then was he with them in Miami as well, and now in Detroit. So he's followed him everywhere. I think he was always meant to be that guy. He's a guy that doesn't have social media either, so he's not really a vocal out there kind of guy. But man, he shows up, and especially this year. Last year we talked about every time he made contact, he was going to get pushed back 2 to 3 yards minimum. He's meeting guys in the hole now. He's making them change direction. I think he's silently just a rock on the defense.
Just doing his job type of thing. I think we all hoped it happened a little quicker. It's year 2 for him. I think it's happening maybe just slower than what we anticipated, and then maybe year 3 is a real breakout year for him, and Anzalone getting up there in age and in his contract as well. Don't know how long he stays around, right? So maybe that transition's coming.
We'll see. I mean, you guys know it's no secret I put a lot of stock into PFF grades. Jack Campbell in the bottom 5 on defense. Not a new spot for him. A spot we see him in too often. So that to me is like, very rarely do you see Anzalone in that spot. Brian Branch you always see in the top 5. Like Campbell we see visiting the bottom 5 for the Lions quite often.
Do you have the breakdown of that? Is it what's dragging him down? Is it the pass defense?
I don't know. I'd have to pay for it, and if we can get a little more T&E budget from the podcast, I'd love to swipe the Amex, but I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe I can siphon that off of somebody to figure out what his weakness is.
I've seen him posted, I think, on Reddit, but I don't know how to find them all the time. I've only come across them on the Lions Reddit. So, but anyway, I'd love to see the breakdown because it's got to be something dragging him down from other areas. Like I said, Mitch, 56 yards rushing. That's all that the defense gave up. Shout out to them. Stroud only had 5 yards rushing, and that's always been their bugaboo too. Is mobile quarterbacks. They did a good job there. Stroud ends the day with a QBR of only 33. That was actually higher than Jared's, though, of course. And they only had 24 yards rushing through the third quarter, 192 yards passing, like you said, Mitch, under 250. It's been a long, long time since that defense has held anybody under 300, let alone 250 total. So that's great. It just feels like this team, this defense, everybody, the stages, they're moving through the stages, they're progressing right before our eyes. We've touched on it several times, but it feels like it's finally getting to the point where we all hoped it would get. And long season, though, still 8 games remaining. Shout out to Bates for the 52 and the 58, and shout out to Fairbairn for just an absolute dog shit kick from 58 of his own.
He barely made the first one. Like, that was everything he took. And then they marched him out there for a 58-yarder. So you know he was going to try and kick the piss out of it and do exactly what he did.
Yeah, it was tough. That was a tough look for any Texans fans out there. You hate to see that.
We know what you're feeling. We've been there many times.
Yeah, exactly. That's the glory of all of it. It all comes around, and we've felt it so many times.
Prater used to do that. Like, it felt like we got Prater and we're like, hey, we're good to go. And then every once in a while, this dude would go out and just like derf like a 35-yarder. Like, come on, Big Daddy.
It was so hot and not. And I feel like I thought that was my worry with Bates is like, yeah, he dunked that 58-yarder and then he comes out for a 52. And I thought, well, what's this guy got left? Is he going to, like, how hot and cold is he going to be? Is how consistent can he be? But he's been consistent. You know, he's made all his field goals.
Bates. Bricklaying Bates.
Bricklaying Bates. Yeah, he used to sell bricks. That's an incredible transition from him, and what a moment from him. Did you guys see that he got cut from the Texans back in the day too?
I did not see that.
Yeah. So if people dug up that old tweet that I think it was last year, it was 2023 during training camp, they cut him. So it had to be on his mind in this one to try to win the game. Let's go to band players and then we'll move this train right along. Andrew's gonna start us this week.
All right, shareholders, here we are, halftime. I think what this is coming down to is turnovers. We got our third there to end the half. Not very good. 23-7, Texans favor. Gotta say though, I think those Texans uniforms are pretty crispy. Like the helmets, like
so crispy.
The shiny face mask as well. I think that's pretty good. Defense doing pretty okay. Got to keep holding them in there. Offense, just got to find your spark. If there's going to be a resilient team, it's going to be this team. Let's go Lions.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was an incredible BAMS player of the week, Andrew. Well done.
Oh, did I say BAMS players? Ooh, halftime capsules. Tommy, cut that.
You did, and so much so that I started giving you my BAMs, but I was a mute monster, and it was just a tough look all along for the production.
This is how it goes sometimes, folks.
Offense really missing Taylor Decker out there. I see really finding a hard time finding their groove. Need a spark in the second half. Unfortunately, the Texans do get the ball out of the half. I will say, 23-7, not as bad as it could be. I think last year's defense would have given up more than 30, and it'd probably be insurmountable at this point. This year's defense keeps them in it. Hope that makes a difference. Show this team what they're all about. Come out in the second half. Show America what you're all about. Let's go Lions.
Felt good about that.
Halftime capsule from Houston. That was good, Ben. Nothing looking good. Defense looks okay. I take it back. Defense looks okay. Offense has put them in a bad spot all night long. That last drive was a pretty brutal to end the first half. Texans are going to get the ball back. Just nothing going from the offense. Play calling is a little odd to me. You got Dan Skipper in at left tackle, and you're doing a lot of deep drop passes, running to the left, not running behind Sewell, your best, maybe probably the best tackle, if not for sure the best right tackle in the NFL. Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Get the ball out of Jarrett's hands a lot quicker. There's stuff in the run. We got to mix it up somehow. I'm not sure what it is, but offense just looks terrible. Goff's pocket presence is a little bit of a relapse to year one in Detroit, so nothing's really working. Got to mix some things up and find a way to get the boys hungry. Texans want it. Lions don't look like they want it, and they got to figure it out pretty quick.
And then they did.
Yeah, they did.
That was
I couldn't remember if I said that during the halftime capsule or if I was just saying it on my couch. Like, I just kept looking at like Dan Skipper getting beat and thinking, why are we doing these deep drops and why do we keep running it to the left?
Didn't make a lot of sense.
I was befuddled.
But to your point about the Texans being hungry, you had touched on that in the preview. You said in your prediction, they're going to be hungry. They got a lot to prove. Guys out, national television, all that stuff. And the Lions proved it, First half, had them in the first half. Second half, a little different story. Bam's Player of the Week. Bam Player of the Week. This is actually the segment now, not the halftime capsules. This is going to be it here. So, Andrew, let's go to you.
All right, boys. It was kind of a tough pick. I know all you guys want to put. What do you guys got? CDI.
I know all you guys want to. What is this here?
Hey,
where are we in these notes?
CD, not for me. I'm going to let you guys pick him. I'm just going as the defense as a whole. The defense as a whole, the viewers and the fans for traveling and staying up at all hours for quite an exciting game. And shout out to name brand Huggies out there. They got to be hitting record profits by all these diaper games. And they should have Dan. He's already a sponsor of Applebee's. Should be invested in Huggies.
James Houston, too.
Leave the man alone.
I'm going to keep it simple. Andrew, I think you have to hold the record for most nominations for Lions fans. I feel like you've done it at least 5 times.
Somebody
Man of the
cares
people.
about the fans, dude.
I love it. You're an ally to everybody. I'm going to keep it simple. It's got to be Bates. I think, although the 3 game balls that DC gave out to CD, AG, Bates, those would be the 3 if we had to expand it. But if I had to pick one, Bates.
CD3, I texted you guys about it earlier in the game. Had it for me, obviously, and then Bates comes in last minute and tries to sneak his way into it. So you already gave the flowers to Bates. I'll give it to Carlton Davis, and we'll let the shareholders pick out who's the real winner there. Last couple things. Win yesterday against the Texans. That puts the Lions' playoff odds at 99% plus. Only them and the Chiefs have that high of a number, 8-1. They're sitting good there, but like we said, Eagles right behind them. Eagles sneaking their way up at 7-2 last couple weeks, and then Mitch, you put the Super Bowl odds in here, and then also touched on the 13-point favorites. They open up against the Jaguars. We'll talk more about that against the Jags. Mitch, your forced turnover stat took a. Well, I shouldn't say that you took a hit because they got 2 yesterday. However, the differential took a hit yesterday with the 5, so they've dropped there, but they're staying steady at 18 turnovers. That puts them number 4 in the league.
I still feel good about it. I mean, they're you get a little pressure from Zadarius Smith. All of a sudden, the quarterbacks are making silly mistakes. It would do wonders for us if Mac Jones started next week. I'm telling you, that's a 3 turnover game, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll touch on it on Wednesday's episode, but it sounds like that's going to be the case with the Trevor Lawrence injury. So, moving right along here, Andrew, top 5 offense and defense. They're 7th in offense in terms of yards, 2nd in scoring. Baltimore did eclipse them in the scoring by a couple decimal points, so we'll see if they can get that back after the Jags game. 19th in defense, still climbing slowly back and forth. They've had a couple games where they gave up a lot of yards. Yesterday's game was certainly going to help them there. 8th in points against, too, by the way.
Can we get an official ruling? I think I said when I say offense, defense, I'm thinking specifically points. Andrew, did you have a specificity?
No, I didn't. I mean, I usually just think, I don't know. Yards is a weird one. Like yards is impossible to tell of a defense.
Their red zone defense is best in the league, top 3 in the league.
I like red zone defense.
How convenient.
No, I like that, Mitch. I'd say scoring.
That's where I'm at. I think because there's so much that happens between the 20s, and they have proved this year that they put the clamps on when teams get in the red zone.
Yeah, and they hardly even bent yesterday. I mean, let alone break at all. So, yeah, we'll get a ruling on that. I'm trying to find the red zone percentage right now, but Offensively, though, isn't it crazy that Baltimore's average is 440 yards per game? Is that insane?
Number 4 in red zone. Number 4 in red zone defense. Opponents scoring going into last week, I believe, 44%. Last year, 65%. Just a casual 20% swing.
Nice.
And on the Ravens, man, no wonder they get so many yards. Possible to bring down Lamar. I mean, every time you think you got this guy wrapped up, it just seems so casual that you can't tackle him.
You know what gets unnoticed? And Andrew, you've been on this for a couple of years now. The dude just loves to cough the ball up. Every once in a while, in a clutch spot, he fumbles it. Still does that.
Also ran off the field mid-game last week. Don't know if you guys caught that. They think it was another bathroom break, whatever is going on there.
He's trying to avoid the James Houston situation.
Do you think they've upgraded the plumbing in that stadium for him? Or like added a toilet right at the bottom of those steps?
M&T Banks.
Maybe his hand warmer is like a catheter for his beehole.
Yeah. Now
We're
this
asking
is
the
the high
heavy
level
questions.
This is the high level analysis that you gotta love.
High-level analysis.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, we're all trending pretty good in those. Got the guarantee to Mitch the 5+ 50 yarders. Now they're at 3 of 3, so sitting good there. What else? That's it for the Lions, man. Shareholders and those alike. I don't know about you guys, but everybody talking Lions Chiefs Super Bowl. How great! I don't want to talk about it too much, but how great would it be to see like that David versus Goliath matchup and have the I'm sure we've all seen the Super.
The entire country would be for the Lions, except
100%.
for
America's
outside
team.
of Chiefs fan. Yeah, I mean it wouldn't even because you know what the Chiefs are? The Chiefs are the Patriots now. That's what they've done. The Chiefs are the new Patriots, and everyone is sick of them. Everyone's sick of Patrick Mahomes. Everyone's sick of Taylor Swift. The people are begging for it. I would love to see a Bills-Lions Super Bowl. That would be a nation divided.
That would be.
So you know what? Maybe we do need a Lions-Chiefs Super Bowl. Lions spoil the three-peat.
Well, I think it'd just be so fitting to see this team come through so much, right? And then to beat a team like them. And also, I'm sure we all saw the supercut of all the instances where they've barely won these 9. They're 9-0, but barely won some of these games. And all the beneficiaries they've had of the refs. I think every game they've had something. So for the Lions to overcome their ref fiascos that they've had decades of would be huge too. For that storyline alone.
Yeah, Ben, you've got this in here, so credit where
do.
credit is due. The Bucs. I am high on the Bucs. I just said to someone this morning, if the Bucs had Godwin and Evans, they would be legit Super Bowl contenders. They're playing everyone so scrappy. The Bucs are the Rams from last year, where they very well could. Ben, you have that they have a bye in Week 11. Ben thinks they're going to go 6-1 to close the season. I wouldn't doubt it. The Bucs are the Rams. Like, they are going to get hot at the right time and carry that momentum into the playoffs.
Mitch,
And
can
their
Baker
strength of
get a
schedule has been
goddamn
crazy.
MVP vote, please?
I mean, Baker should get it more than Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is even in the conversation. He's thrown 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
You said
Last
he
week-
shouldn't get any votes.
I changed
Last
my
week.
mind. I'm saying, but yes, I'm saying I don't think he should, but he deserves it more than Patrick Mahomes does. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is even in the realm of the conversation.
Andrew, who leads the league in passing touchdowns?
I'm assuming Jared Goff on this.
Baker
But
Mayfield.
That's crazy.
And he doesn't want to vote for MVP. He doesn't want to vote. Mitch doesn't want to vote for him.
I mean, fine. I'll give him my vote. Jared's not getting any votes. That's for damn sure.
I think that play that he had this week where he's stiff-arming Nick Bosa or whatever
Oh my God.
Bosa brother,
It's ridiculous.
extends the play and gets the first. He did it on like the next play too. He did something very similar. The guy is just a baller. He is a gamer, man.
Yeah. Well, the Bucks have had the toughest strength of schedule thus far of any team by
And
far.
the
Like
easiest.
it's an insane strength of schedule that they've had playing some of these teams. They played them so close. So yeah, but they're It gets easier, like I said, after this, and I think they get healthier after the bye this week that they'll have, and I could see them. I put in here realistically 6-1, but I think they could go 7-0, finish off the season with 10 or 11 wins. And
when is
probably,
Mike Evans coming back? Is Mike Evans coming back?
That's the
I mean, that's the question because Godwin's done, so it really depends on Mike Evans.
Could return to the team after their bye, so he could return week
There you
12
go.
at the earliest.
I'm with you, Ben. I think they figure it out and catch fire at the right moment.
Well, you just look at their schedule. I mean, I'm not making any real bold claims with this because the Bucs schedule in the next 8 weeks is not bad. I mean, the Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. So toughest game in there is the Chargers, who have been pretty hot. But other than that, outside of that, I mean, they can win all those games, no doubt. Let's give you an update and then get out of here. Let's give you an update. I know, Andrew, you got to get going. Running season totals for the boys here. I was really hoping that I could eclipse 100 wins this week. I needed 9 wins, I think, to get over 100. I'm at 7, and got the Rams Dolphins about to kick off here in 1 minute. And so if we get a Rams victory, I'll get to 99. But all that to say, I'm at 98 and 53. Mitch is breathing down my neck at 96 and 55. He's climbing that ladder. He's got this.
I'm not breathing down your neck,
games.
baby. I'm licking your earlobe. I'm right behind you, right where I want to be.
Right up from his 5-game discrepancy that we had a couple weeks ago. Now just 2 games. We both have the Rams here in Monday night, so it'll, no matter the outcome, we'll still be 2 games apart going into week 11. But Andrew, I know I didn't forget about you, pal, with your binoculars on screen for those watching on YouTube. Shout out to our YouTube. Andrew, just 10 games back of the crown leader that is me. Andrew at 88 and 63.
You've loved to find ways to crown yourself.
Just 10 games back, he says. Just a crisp. What is this?
Can I just a moment of appreciation to you guys because you guys rode with the Broncos with me. Let's ride. I wouldn't change that pick for the world. That was the Broncos game to win. 100%.
I would too.
I felt so good about that and so confident, and they played them so well. They should have won that. They deserved to win that game. That wasn't fair to
Absolutely.
the Broncos or their fans
Or anybody, or the United States as a whole.
I mean, the call-outs from this week, Daniel Jones is dead. The Bears are dead. Steelers are really good. Jets are dead.
The Cardinals are alive, but Kyler Murray's headless.
Yeah, but then he's still... I love watching Kyler Murray run the football. Can I just say, like, the upper half of his body doesn't move. Yeah, the upper half of his body doesn't move at all. He's just so upright. Like, he's
the
so
road runner.
quick, though.
Andrew,
it's
did you
awesome.
see did you see the tweet? Somebody put like a massive filter over this video, so it was a guessing game of like, who's this quarterback? And it was Kyler Murray. Spoiler alert! But so a second and a half in, you can tell who it is because nobody runs like Kyler.
Yeah, I was just, I mean, that play this week when he got destroyed, man.
He did get decapitated, though, yes.
I watched that play over and over. The guy hit him so hard, his helmet went so far that it looked for a second like he thought the ball was a fumble.
Yes.
Or his helmet was a fumble.
Yes. The defender for the Jets, is running after his helmet. It looks like he's going to go pick it up and scoop and score his helmet. That should be worth some points, honestly.
Yeah, I think, Andrew, you're right. The Cardinals are solid. The Cardinals are and pulling away from the NFC West, although this just saying Christian McCaffrey's still really good at football.
How lucky are the 49ers that they eked that out against the Bucs, though?
That's annoying too.
In the week before, the Bucs are battle tested. Is there anything else like this week you guys want to talk about? Like
the Jets are officially dead?
Yeah, Ben, I'm looking at your picks. Like,
look,
Colts over Bills, Jets over. Like, what are you?
Andrew, hit him with me out.
Over the Steelers?
We gotta go. We gotta go. Yeah, no.
No. That was a good game. That was a fun game to watch.
Have we called it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Our hearts were all with the Steelers. We just, I just thought the Commanders had the
I
edge
put
there
that
at
in the
home.
comments. I put Commanders, but I want the Steelers to win. We need that separation in the NFC.
Yeah, we need the Commanders. Spoiler alert! Coming up to next week, week 11, the Commanders and the Eagles are going to be taking off. So that's huge for the NFC
That's
too.
huge. Yeah, that's go Comms next week. We'd love to see it. Also,
Already got them in my notes.
in kind of like good for total NFL, the Cowboys are in such disarray. Jerry Jones is now having to defend the stadium.
Oh my God! Now
The
he's not defending
sunlight.
the stadium. He is dogging Mike McCarthy.
No, not Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons
No,
is
Mike
a bum.
McCarthy. He's dogging McCarthy for the pick, for the direction that they went. Saying,
Oh,
yeah,
because
we all know where the
he chose
sun
to go
is.
that way.
That's what he's
Oh.
saying. He's like, what do you want us to do? Tear the whole stadium down? We all know where the sun is. It was such an idiot move by McCarthy.
But like, it doesn't matter because not the Lions. I'm sorry. The Cowboys play in primetime almost every week because they're the Cowboys. So they're constantly in the 4:30 slot. So no matter what, they're gonna be staring at the sun if it's a sunny day. The sun's not gonna set in the first or second quarter alone. Like they're always gonna be looking at the sun. That stadium build is butt cheeks.
I'm with you. I'm just saying what he was saying when he was like McCarthy's a dead man walking. There's no way
Well,
he has
obviously,
a
and
job
Micah
by
Parsons.
Wednesday.
I think Micah Parsons' comments were taken like a little out of context, but like,
Agreed.
brother, you've been hurt all year. Like, what have you been doing to help the team win? You
Yeah,
feel
but-
bad for all these veterans? Like, okay.
That's true too.
I mean, that's like to come back from injury and again he was trying to say he feels bad for the veterans, but like, yeah, Mike McCarthy can go wherever he wants. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Shout
know.
out-
I didn't. Wild.
Shout out to the veterans on Veterans Day too.
Come on, dude. I mean,
It's
salute to
Veterans Day.
service, but that was a
Oh, you're-
disgusting way of sliding that in there.
Sorry. We respect the troops.
That's what she said? Oh, God, I didn't mean to say that.
Oh boy. Cut this.
Okay,
Whole
boys,
part.
we're gonna have to shut this down. I'm gonna call the labor department.
Oh man. Yeah, that's I didn't get to catch a lot of week 11, week 10, whatever week we were in. Did travel, so I didn't catch them out of that, but sound like I missed a lot of crazy action, and I was happy to end it off with the Lions game.
It was a great week of football. Great week of NFL football. Lots of crazy games, lots of stuff going on. Yeah, it was a fun one for sure.
Hopefully we got a good one too here tonight with Stafford and the boys taking on the Dolphins. Did we just? Oh, somebody just flipped this to week 11. I was confused why this changed. So that was my confusion. Yeah, that's it. That's about it, right? Like us, follow us, rate us 5 stars. Shout out to the TikTokers who came into our mentions during halftime and said we were idiots for taking the Lions and that the Lions were quote unquote soft. That guy deleted his account, by the way, so he's no longer. Actually, he didn't delete it. He blocked us though. As soon as the game was over, he blocked us, deleted all his comments.
Coward.
Yeah, big.
Reminds me of the low-level analysis guy. Bring that guy back too.
At least he had something. I mean, that guy was kind of right, but the guys coming in about the Texans were. That made it so much sweeter that the Lions came back for many reasons. So. Lions will be back on your televisions next Sunday against the Jaguars. We will be back on the airwaves here in just a couple days with the short week here after the Sunday night game. We will preview week 11 and give you any updates on injuries and anything like that on the next episode. Like us, rate us, follow us everywhere. Hit up the TikTok. We appreciate you, shareholders. Let's go Lions. 8-1 into week 11 against the Jags. Let's go Lions.